I have around 7 years of experience in .NET, and currently I'm working as a software professional in an organization. Overall, I have around 7 years of experience in software development too. This is my little background about me, and we have how many of them we have now in the meeting?
Yeah,
we have
4.
3 actually.
3. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Quickly, shall we? I mean, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Well, Vikyat, right?
Yes, we can.
Vikyat, this is Mukund. I'm a director for sales and recruiting for this company, Autodesk, and I have Chris Chaitanya. Yes, you know him, and Harish, and he's a technical guy, one of a web developer and technical guy. So yeah, you can just go.
Yeah.
Vikyat,
Today,
Vikyat, here I'm going to make you as a presenter.
yeah, Sujit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just.
Yes.
Hi guys, I hope all you able to see the screen, right? Vikyat's screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Vikyat, you can carry on.
Yep. Yeah. Today we are going to discuss about .NET. Before going to introduction into .NET, a few things I'm discussing with you. The first one is while introducing into .NET, in the information technology, the most useful keyword is network, right? Today we have many networks availability in the cloud. Those are LAN, MAN, WAN, etc. Right? Am I audible to everyone? Hello?
Yeah.
We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. You can go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. Before going to introduction to the .NET, a few things I want to cover before this one is we have many types of networks available in the right now. Those are LAN, MAN, WAN, and YAN. LAN is local area network, metropolitan area network, wide area network, and enterprise area network, right? LAN. First one, LAN, local area network, which is limited to a single organization located at single place. It is known as LAN. MAN, network is limited to a single city, and it is a suburban place like known as MAN, like a city cable, etc., etc. And which is the third one is WAN, network which has no limit in the universe, which is known as WAN. A better example is internet, right? Yeah, these are two types of categories available in this network. Those are one intranet and another one is extranet. Intranet is within the within one kind of floor, and extranet it is limited to a group of organizations. Like whereas intranet is a single organization, like single organization, whereas extranet it is a group of organizations located at various places, which is known as extranet. But the better example for extranet is ADM network, right? Okay. Am I understandable?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yep. We have four types of networks available. Similar way, we have types of network computings also. Like we have right now 3 types of network computings, which are centralized computing and client server computing, and one more is distribution computing, right? The first one, centralized computing, which means that the server will be located at central place, and the clients, which are remote computers, will be located in the different places, right? Where server has the whole key features like processor, RAM, and etc. RAM, motherboard, hard disk, operating system, all these things are controlled by server. Where clients do not contain any processor or processing will not be done at client side. Rather, it will be performed at server, right? which is known as type 1 centralized computing. The disadvantages in this computing is, whereas number of clients increase to large extent, the burden on the server will be increased and performance will be degraded automatically. The data transfer on the network will also be increased. When data transfer on the network increase, then network will become slow. Okay. To overcome these disadvantages, we come up with another network computing type, which is known as client server computing. Okay. In this one, there is centrally located server and all other computers are connected to the server known as clients. Okay. Whereas clients also having some properties like processor, RAM, and etc. Every client contains own processor. I mean, whereas in first one I told that server having the processor, RAM, and motherboard, hard disk, etc. Here clients also having all those things. Okay, the advantages of client server computing is there is no burden on the server, no data transfer. I mean, within the network there is no data transfer, so that network does not become slow. Okay, but this is also having some kinds of disadvantages, whereas number of clients increases on the server, then automatically there is a performance issue. To overcome these two network computing disadvantages, the third one we come up with distributed computing. In this method, the code of the application, logic code of the application will be resided in the divided among the many computers present in the network, so that the execution can be done at faster rate. In general, distributed computing is the high end of computing. Nowadays, all the applications whichever we are building right now are developed using distributed network only. Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Am I fast or it is okay?
No. Go ahead. Continue. We'll get back to you if we have anything.
Okay.
Can you, what do you say? Can you, do you have any slides for this? Whatever you're saying.
Yes. Yep. This is just to introduction to the network. We are not entered into the .NET. Okay.
Okay.
Just to refresh the network related things. I just refreshing those things.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Coming to the .NET. .NET, it is an. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. .NET.
Yes,
.NET is the most. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. .NET. It is the most powerful tool which is used to build distributed computing applications, as I explained in the network computers. I mean network and network enterprise tools and enterprise technologies. Okay, this is which is a powerful tool. .NET. What is it? It is a software platform. I mean, to analyze what is a .NET, first I have to explain a few things over here. We have many softwares available in the IT field, as we know. Those are, for example, we have many softwares in the available in the IT field. These are one is operating system. The second one is application packages, databases, ERP applications, server technologies, testing tools, designing tools, programming languages. These are all many software tools which are available in the IT field. But do you want me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Let me write. Yeah. Let me write those things over here. Software. We have the softwares available in the IT field. The number one is operating system. Application. Databases and ERP applications, server technologies, and Testing tools. Designer tools. And programming languages. These are the softwares we have so many, but I am mentioning few of them. Softwares available in the IT field. Coming to .NET, what is it? .NET. Among these things, .NET. This is not an operating system. This is not an application or package. This is not an database. This is not an ERP applications. This is not a server technology. This is not a testing tool, designer tool, programming is. This is not. .NET, it is a framework tool which supports many programming languages. Okay. The mention like here, it is a software platform. This is not a software. This is software platform, which is language neutral. Here, what is .NET? Coming to .NET, it is an framework for developing web-based or Windows-based application within the Microsoft environment. I mean, web applications, we have so many web applications are available in the market, and we can develop those kind of web applications or Windows-based applications using Microsoft .NET as we develop other languages. And the framework offers a fundamental shift in the Microsoft strategy, which moves application development from client-centric to server-centric. I mean, which is compatible with the client-server architecture. And .NET, it is like it is a .NET application. There is an interlinkage between .NET and .NET application, operating system, and hardware. Okay. Framework. .NET framework. The word it means that .NET, it is a framework. It is not in any language as mentioned above. In general, we are working with .NET. We don't write any code in the .NET. Rather, the code program we written in the programming languages supported by the .NET. Okay. That will be executed in the .NET. Whatever the code we have written in the specified programming language, that will be executed by the .NET, but it is not a programming language as I mentioned. .NET framework typically contains these elements: common language, runtime, CLR. Internally, it contains other things: CLS, CTS, JIT compiler, and Windows Forms, ASP.NET, ADO.NET, Evolution of ADO, and Visual Studio, which is the base of .NET, which will use it as editor tool to build the .NET based applications. Here, .NET, what is the word of .NET framework and Visual Studio? What it mean? What is the difference between these two? .NET framework, it is completely an execution or runtime environment of .NET programs or applications whichever developed. Without .NET framework, there is no .NET at all. The key framework which is used for execution of the code written in any programming languages. It typically contains the components like CLR, Common Language Runtime, CTS, Common Language Specification, CTS, Common Type Specification, Garbage Collector, JIT, and BCL. I'll explain these things in detail for the slides. And what is Visual Studio? Visual Studio is just an editor tool which is used to design and develop .NET programs and applications. It is a powerful and flexible editor which will provide a rapid application development. I mean, we have to use Before that, there is no .NET. .NET framework, the compatible Visual Studio was released in the same year. The next version, which is there are few other things added for one, and as well as Visual Studio also. And next version, Visual Studio 2000, Visual Studio 2.0 version. Sorry, .NET Framework 2.0 released in November 2005, which is whereas Visual Studio, the compatible Visual Studio 2005 released in the same year. These are the evolution histories. Right now, we are with .NET 4.1, 4.5 framework, which is released in May 2011. The compatible Visual Studio 2012 released in the same year. Recently, Visual Studio 2013 also released. Common language runtime. The code execution, as I mentioned, like in .NET framework, the code execution process will be taken care by language, common language runtime. It's like a virtual machine in executing all the programming languages. Okay. Actually, here I want to bring up with differences with Java. Java also having this some programming language. Java also having an environment which executes the code, Java code. It's like in other cases. I'll go to this one. In normal way, the code execution process will be in this manner. Source code. Language compiler, and it is language compiler compiles into native code. Executed code. As I shown here, code execution in the normal programming language like COBOL, Pascal, or C or C++ will be like this. In these programming languages, the source code will be compiled by a language compiler. Every language will have a language compiler, which compiles the code and generates the native code, which is understood by the operating system. Okay. This is understandable by operating system, and it is executed by the operating system, which gives the executed code. Okay. At the time of compilation of any language code, it considers two factors. The one is processor architecture. And number two is operating system, OS. The native code will be generated in such a way that it should be understood by the current processor and the operating system which the code is compiled. Okay, here there is a I want to bring one word like platform. To execute all these things, we need a platform. Okay, platform, which means that it can be defined as an processor architecture. The platform, in another form of the platform, is it is a processor architecture. And operating system platform, these two things, as I mentioned, like the two factors, processor architecture and operating system, these two come together as a platform to execute any kind of code. And here we have to know two words like platform dependent and platform independent. Platform dependent. What is meant by platform dependent? The code generated by a language compiler and compilation does not run on different processor and in different operating system than which it has been compiled. This nature is also known as platform dependency. That means that the code written in one language should understandable by the processor and in the same operating system, which is not understandable by the different processor and the different operating system. That is known as platform dependency. What is platform independence? The code generated by the language compiler compilation runs on any processor and in any operating system. This is not dependent on any operating system or processor, which is known as platform independent. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Hello?
As of now, we don't have any questions.
Okay. The same thing, like now I'll show how the code executed in .NET. मैं कौन మీటింగ్ జరుగుతుంది ఇక్కడ బుద్ధుండాలి.
Vikrant? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Vikram,
Hello? Am I audible to everyone?
Yes,
now
yes, we
you
can
are
hear you
audible.
now. Now.
Once you open the document and you said you are going to explain how .NET works, after that we couldn't hear anything.
Pretty much after you call.
From where can you tell me from where I have to?
You got a mobile, you got a ring, right, on your mobile?
This, from the time you started that Word document, from there, we couldn't hear anything.
Word
Explain,
document in the sense
explain
from
the Word
starting?
document. No, Vikrant. Once you said you are going to explain how .NET works, yes, from this
Oh,
document
from
starting,
paint, right?
yes. From here we couldn't
Okay.
hear anything.
Okay, I'll explain one more time.
Okay.
This is the code execution process in the .NET. First, the source code from the .NET will be converted into intermediate code using the language compiler, which is like Java. After that, MSIL code will be taken care by a CLR, and it will be generate native code. After that, native code will be executed by the operating system to generate a final code. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll explain what is a MSIL and CLR. Here, as I mentioned, as I shown in the Java, the difference between these two is MSIL and CLR. These are new to the .NET, newly introduced in .NET. MSIL means Microsoft Intermediate Language. Okay.
Okay.
Here, the code will be executed in two compilation process. Compilation one from source code to the MSIL code. In compilation 2, MSIL code to the executed code. Okay.
Okay.
Always the compilation 2 will be much faster than the compilation 1. Okay.
Okay.
MSIL, Microsoft Intermediate Language. In general, which it is an CPU independent. That is, it can be run only on Windows operating system. I mean, which is dependent on Microsoft.
Okay.
Okay. .NET framework only for Windows operating system. But when we want to execute our .NET code in any other operating system, we have Mono framework, which is developed by the Novell company. We can, using the Mono framework, we can develop .NET applications on other operating systems like Linux and Solaris. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear
So
you.
that we can
Carry
say
on.
that .NET, it is a platform dependent using the .NET framework, and .NET we can say it is a platform independent using the Mono framework. Okay. Here, language compiler. For Microsoft technologies, we have for every language there will be a language compiler. For example, we have many languages supported by the .NET given by Microsoft. Few examples are C#, VB, F#, J#. For every language there will be a language compiler. Okay. After intermediate code, finally the code will be executed by the CLR with the help of operating system. Whereas other languages like Java, the code will be executed directly by the operating system. But here in the .NET, the code will be executed by the all control will be taken care by the CLR with the help of operating system. Okay.
Mhm.
Finally, if you, for conclusion, .NET framework. .NET framework, it is a completely execution or runtime environment for developing the .NET applications. .NET framework, it is a completely a core software for .NET building, .NET based applications. Without .NET framework, there will be no .NET. Okay. For building the .NET applications using .NET framework, we have to use other editors like any editors. I mean TextPad or Edit whatever. But Microsoft has given an editor tool which is known as Visual Studio. Here, as I mentioned, like compilation process in .NET. To generate MSIL code in VB will be compiled by the VB compiler. Code in C# will be compiled by the C# compiler. Any other languages will be taken to appropriate compiler. After that, MSIL code will be generated. After that MSIL code, this will be taken care by the CLR. Okay.
Okay.
What is Microsoft Intermediate Language? .NET languages are directly not compiled directly into the machine code. Instead, they will be compiled into an intermediate language which is known as MSIL, where CLR which takes the MSIL code and recompiles into the machine code. For recompilation, it will use just-in-time compiler, JIT compiler. It will be what JIT exactly does is JIT will be taken care by the all memory leaks and all error handlings and subsequent calls, which will be handled by the JIT compiler. Languages. What are the languages supported by the Microsoft? It supports .NET framework supports up to 61 programming languages, out of which 9 were provided by the Microsoft company. The 9 languages are, as I mentioned here, VB, C++, C#, J#, JavaScript, F#, Windows PowerShell, Iron Python, Ruby, etc. etc. Still some other languages are in development. The third party also it supports the third party languages like COBOL, Pascal, etc. .NET versus Java. Here, why .NET? What is .NET and how it is similar to Java or difference with Java? .NET, it is similar in many ways. There are as in Java, in Java we support client server architecture for building the enterprise applications. The same as we can develop the client server model applications using .NET also. Java, it is a language dependent, platform independent, but in .NET it is a language independent and platform dependent. It means that in Java we have to use only Java J2 Enterprise Edition. I mean, we want to develop any enterprise applications, we have to use Java language only, whereas in .NET we have many languages optional. C#, VB, whichever language we want, we can use it. Comparisons between the J2E and .NET architectures. In J2E architectures, client tier, all the class files will be taken care and it will be JSP pages or other pages. This is the business tier, enterprise beans, JDBC, all these things. .NET architectures which will have the HDL dynamic pages, Windows forms, .NET user controls, C# or ASP.NET, language which we are using, complex These are the main differences between the ASP.NET and PHP. As compared to PHP, it supports both HTML and CSS. The main difference of the difference between the PHP and ASP.NET is it is in server controls, whereas we don't have any server controls like predefined controls in PHP, whereas we have in ASP.NET. And state management techniques. View state, we don't have any view state managing technique in PHP, whereas we have in ASP.NET. Before going to ASP.NET, till now we discussed about the .NET basics of the .NET, basics of .NET technology and framework. Now we are going into the ASP.NET. Before coming to the ASP.NET, initially the name it is called ASP, which will call as active server pages. This is an specification for dynamically created web page with an .asp extension that uses active scripting, usually VB script or JavaScript. With the before ASP.NET, there is an ASP language, ASP technology, which will use the VB script or JavaScript to develop the dynamic web pages. When a browser requests ASP, the web server generates a page with HTML code and sends it back to the browser. So ASPs are similar to CJ scripts, but they enable Visual Basic programmers to work with familiar tools. The main advantage of ASP and ASP.NET, why ASP.NET introduced is to allow web applications and web service in any language. To generate HTML pages, the business logic layer will be, we can write business logic layer in any other languages, whereas in ASP we have to write only in VB-script or JavaScript. In ASP.NET, program is compiled into a .NET class and cached. First time we call as all subsequent calls use cached version. Which uses the memory saving and robustness feature. The main differences between the ASP and ASP.NET are it has limited to ASP has limited OOPS concept support, whereas in ASP.NET we have fully object-oriented programming support. ASP, it is limited to its development and debugging tool is available, but it is very difficult to debug the code in ASP. Whereas in ASP.NET, it is very easy to debug the code using the editor called Visual Studio. In ASP, we have only 2 languages available to develop any dynamic applications. Whereas in ASP.NET, we have many languages which supports in .NET. Like C++, C# or VB, which are used to develop a business logic layer behind the pages. Error handling system. Error handling system, it is a very poor concept in ASP, whereas it is an error handling concept which gives very good concepts in ASP.NET. The main overcome over the ASP over ASP.NET is when we want to update any code, new code in the server, we have to stop and start the servers very repeatedly. Whereas in ASP.NET that is not needed. Whereas we have state management techniques, several state management techniques supports in ASP.NET. So it is not required to start and restart the servers again and again. In ASP, it is not having any inbuilt facility for validation controls. Here we have a facility provided in ASP.NET which are easy to implement. Also here in ASP there is no user controls feature. Here in ASP.NET we can have user controls for repeated usage. The logical evolution of ASP.NET. This is supports multiple languages, improved performance, control-based and event-driven execution model, more productive, cleanly encapsulated functionality, and enhanced error handling functionality. ASP.NET Web Forms. It allows clean-cut code behind web forms. The code behind web forms means the main web page will be written in any HTML language or ASP language. other code behind code will be written in C sharp, or any other programming language which will be given, which is given by the Microsoft. ASP.NET Web Service. This is a concept introduced in .NET. This is an programmable application component accessible via standard web protocols. This is an enhanced feature. We have web services in .NET framework, which is accessible across many protocols. Web service. What is a web service first?
Vikrant,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Okay, so all these, I mean, whatever you have explained so far, these are just introductions. So, okay, we are good with this. Can you just go into more technical stuff and where you can explain and elaborate the stuff in detail?
Yeah, I'm just entering into that one.
Yeah, please.
Yep. First, entering into the .NET, ASP.NET, just I'm refreshing the .NET features and all. That's the reason why I'm explaining all these things. After that, I will go into
Anyway,
detail.
I mean, we are not here to learn .NET completely, so just let's go over things quickly.
We can to be precise, instead of just giving us introduction about .NET, could you just help us how you help the trainee to learn .NET, how you give examples, what kind of projects you discuss with them, something like that.
Yes.
Just a gist of that will do with us.
Yeah. For training purpose, I will go by, concept by concept wise, from starting to end. I will take up an example as a sample project as an example, which intercepts all the concepts of ASP.NET, like state management and all ASP.NET page lifecycle, process request lifecycle, all these things.
Yes. That is what we were looking at. If you can explain as one concept, that would be really great.
Yeah, as it is a demo, just I am refreshing all these things.
Okay.
While entering into the detail, I will take an sample project. I will explain that project which includes all ASP.NET features, like as explained, ASP.NET controls, page lifecycle, SS process request lifecycle, state management techniques, all the user controls, cache management system, session management system, all these things I will explain.
Okay.
Okay. Web service. What is a web service? It's just an application that exposes its features and the capabilities over the network. All the applications built in .NET editor, whereas sometimes application will be researched in somewhere else in the server, where we can consume that. We will consume the server, consume that application from the server, and we will access that application, and we will do whatever we want. That is a web service. Over the network, we will access all these applications. ADO.NET. This is an feature which connects the data with the front end. If we consider any web page, whatever we are seeing, that is an ASP.NET written in ASP.NET code. The business logic behind that page was in C# code. The connection between, also there is a connection between the database. I'll show you. Architecture of .NET. This is UI, user interface, ASP.NET. C#, business logic layer, and DB. From DB, this is like architecture for an if you consider any web page an example. Whatever the page we are seeing that will be written in ASP code, and the business logic layer, business behind the page will be written in any Microsoft language. The data whichever enter into the DB or gets from the DB, this will be taken care by the business logic layer called Microsoft Intermediate Language C#. The flow is like this. ADO.NET means this part, the connection between the database and the business logic layer, whereas ADO.NET comes in picture. Visual Studio.NET, I already explained about this one. .NET hierarchy. And one more thing I want to bring up is source control. Source control. Source control means it is an version control, whereas all the files will be resided at a server. The files for the source code of computer programs with monitor access means whenever a developer modifies something or updated something, the files will be tracked, and what are the changes made and whatever the references, what he updated, what he modified, everything will be tracked using this source control. This is a very efficient feature which uses how to track the developers, what they are currently working upon and what they are currently updating or modifying the things. Few examples of the source code, source controller, Subversion and Visual Source Safe, VSS. This is the summary of .NET overview, and now we'll go through the ASP.NET. Till now, any questions so far?
No, Bikram. From my end, no question. Mike, you have anything to ask?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Vikyat, this is Sujit.
Okay. Yeah, Sujit.
Yeah, actually they are expecting some technical stuff from you. Can you please deliver the things?
Yeah.
Okay.
As it is a demo, I just refreshing the what is .NET and what and all ASP.NET and C#.NET and what it is.
So
In
Bikram,
detail,
whatever you said is good actually, but
Yeah.
what we thought is, if you could give us some technical, insight, that would be great. That's it.
okay, technical things means
No, whatever you
ASP.NET.
said now is a bit better, from what you were saying actually. So
Yeah.
we got a feel, how it works.
Okay. You want to explain anything anything further in the ASP.NET? We want to take up any concept? You want me to take up any concept from ASP.NET?
Yes.
That's what
Yes. Yeah. Something.
Yeah. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because see, we have it's almost like 1 hour now. So I just want to observe that okay, basic things are always needed, but also we need to cover all the other areas where you can where we can rate the training stuff and all the other areas, not just the basics, technical stuff, and how good you can support the guys. So what are your ideas and everything?
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I'm using others' laptop for this demo. Actually, mine was in others' room, so I don't have Visual Studio installed in this laptop. That's the reason why I just going through these concepts. Shall we have tomorrow so that we can have Visual Studio in hand and so that I can explain far better?
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
I will. We will inform Sujit actually. In that case.
Actually, as it is planned as a demo, so I did not ready with my laptop.
Not a problem. Not a problem, Vikrant. We can understand. So what we can do is, we will inform Sujit when there would be, we would be free, and accordingly, we can.
So that I can have Visual Studio and SQL Server ready with my in my laptop, so that I can explain you far better go
Sure,
through the
Vikrant.
code.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, Krishna,
Well,
is there any questions
thanks
from your
guys,
side?
Krishna.
Yeah, Krishna, is there any questions
no,
from your side?
You can drop actually. I would talk
Yeah.
to them and update you.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Vikrant and Sujit.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.